Yesterday around 3 o'clock, police in Kingsport were called to the Holston Terrace Apartments off Bowater Drive in Kingsport to a shooting. Once on scene, police say they found a juvenile dead from what appeared to be a gunshot wound. Our crews first got here around 8:30 tonight, and what we do know right now at this time is that the TBI is investigating a shooting, again, along the 100 block here of Wilson Avenue in Johnson City. A much different scene than from about 7 o'clock this morning. That building was standing full of smoke and flames. Now it's all rubble and ash and dust. This is just a small piece of the building that once stood here. The TBI and the Carter County Sheriff's Office are investigating, and again, that identity of that person has not yet been released. When a school bus stops, it's not only for kids on this side of the road to get to their homes over here, but for kids that potentially have to walk across traffic and make it to their home on this side of the road. With the new enhancements to the law is the point system. Drivers over the age of 18 for a first offense hands-free law violation are charged with 4 points onto their license. For a third offense or more, they're charged with 5 points or more to their license. And another issue insurance agencies have been seeing don't involve your home, but rather your car, and the potential for cracked windshields. Officials say if you find yourself in a road rage situation, it's important to disengage yourself from the other driver. But if they keep trying to instigate you, drive to a public place, for example, like a police station. Good morning and thanks for waking up with News 5 this weekend. I'm Andrew McClung, and it's hard to believe, but it's actually 7 a.m. here on your Sunday morning because we sprang forward last night. You can see it is dark outside. Kid Alexander is tracking your Sunday forecast, and Kid, it definitely looks a little better than yesterday.
So, yeah.
A Kingsport man's criminal charge has been upgraded to first-degree murder after police say one of his stabbing victims died. This is 39-year-old William Clark. Kingsport police say they believe Clark attacked his mother and uncle Wednesday at a home on Sequoia Drive. Police reported finding the two victims with bleeding from severe injuries to their heads from possible stabbing or blunt force trauma. Clark remains in jail this morning, also facing an attempted first-degree murder and a theft charge. The investigation is ongoing. And we have breaking news out of Sullivan County this morning where crews have been battling a massive structure fire. You can see the video our crews took around 4:30 a.m. this morning. Fire officials on scene tell News 5 the call came in around 2:15 this morning near the intersection of Bristol Caverns Highway and Paperville Road. Once on scene, fire officials say they found the building about 75% involved before 100% of the building became involved in the fire. Crews all throughout Sullivan County were called in to battle the blaze, including Avoca, Hickory Tree, 421, Bluff City, and Piney Flats, with the East Fire Department taking lead. Green Springs was called in from Washington County, Virginia as well. Officials say the building is an old auction house and it is considered a total loss. No injuries were reported. There is an investigation as to what caused the fire, but fire officials tell News 5 it is not believed to be suspicious. Virginia Republicans are crying foul over how some victims of gun violence were treated this week when testifying before a committee. Now the Attorney General is getting involved. Henry Graff has the story. And we do have breaking news overnight. A police investigation is underway in Bristol, Tennessee. This is after police say there was an incident involving a firearm and several vehicles were vandalized. Police say they were called to the area of 6th Street along the 600 block. Officers say based on their preliminary investigation, no one was injured in the incident and that there's no danger to the public. If you have any information on what happened, you are asked to contact the Bristol, Tennessee Police Department. That number is on your screen and can also be found on our website. New this morning, according to Appalachian Power, more than 1,000 people in Southwest Virginia are without power. These areas include Washington County, Virginia, Smith County, Scott County, and as well as parts of Grayson County as well. According to the Appalachian Power website, the estimated restoration is tomorrow. And with the winter weather moving in, Bright Ridge CEO Jeff Dykes wants customers to know they are prepared for whatever is in store. They have crews standing by on call throughout the weekend and also next week. Plus, their online power outage tracker, Smart Hub, will be operational for checking and reporting outages in your area. Right now, according to Bright Ridge's outage map, there are more than 200 people without power this morning. Dykes adds the TVA has reported they are expecting to be able to handle the demand through next week's cold temperatures. And speaking of those cold temperatures, those are expected to drop to near single digits next week. With that in mind, plumbers in our region are urging residents to take care of pipes in your home. News 5's Kylie Hill spoke with 2 local plumbers about what you can do to prevent damage to your home during the cold weather. New at noon, the Washington County, Tennessee Sheriff's Office says a man is in custody following an assault on Friday. According to a release from the Sheriff's Office, John Fry is charged with aggravated domestic assault. Authorities say deputies were sent to a call involving a firearm at a home on Charlie Hicks Road on Friday. A woman at the house said Fry had threatened her with a gun during an argument. Police say they searched the home and found the gun and arrested Fry. He is currently in jail on a $10,000 bond and is due in court next week. And we're continuing to follow a story we first brought you on Friday. An investigation is underway in Lebanon after police found a woman with severe head trauma. According to police, officers responded to a wellness check at an apartment along George Ben Whited Road. Officers then found the woman inside. She was flown by helicopter to the hospital. Her condition remains unknown. Police are now investigating the incident as suspicious. State police and the Russell County Sheriff's Office are assisting the investigation. If you have any information that may help, contact the Lebanon Police Department. Also new at noon today, the Bristol, Virginia Fire Department has donated multiple pieces of retired protective equipment to firefighters in Ukraine. According to fire officials, the gear has exceeded its useful lifespan set by standards here in the U.S. The gear will be given to an organization called Mission to Ukraine, a group that helps get gear in good shape to Ukrainian fire departments. More than $100,000 in grant funding is headed to the town of Glade Spring. I spoke with town leaders who say it will help improve safety in the growing community. A bill to increase minimum wage in Virginia has passed the State House and Senate. With all that's left now is the governor's signature to sign it into law. I spoke with one local business owner who says the bill could do more harm than good for the region.
Peakstown, can I help you?
Carmine Graziano is the longtime owner of Pizza Town in Lebanon, Virginia. He says recent inflation hasn't made being a small business owner easy.
We took a different approach to it. So instead of really doing a huge increase to offset the cost of the product, we're trying to keep costs low to get more business. So that, that helps me keep employees if I stay busier than we would be if I raise my prices.
But Graziano says if the new minimum wage bill passes, things could be up in the air.
Food costs doubling in cost, and utilities, electric, everything going up. I mean, it's just going to be tough to make it. You're going to have to do some budget cuts or employee layoffs, which I'm not in favor of doing.
The current minimum wage in Virginia is $12 an hour. If the bill is passed, it would be $13.50 an hour by 2025, and by 2026, it would be raised to $15 an hour.
Workers need a raise.
Dustin Keith is the chair of the Russell County Democratic Committee.
We need to make sure that they have at least what they can do to afford the basic cost of living.
Virginia Delegate Israel O'Quinn worries about the impact it could have on small businesses.
In the end, I do think it's going to be certainly burdensome and at the very least much more expensive for small business owners in Southwest Virginia to have to absorb two large increases over the next 2 years.
Small businesses are critically important, and we want to do what we can to make sure that they have the resources that they can to pay their workers. But also, it's important to acknowledge that the majority of workers, even in small towns like here in Lebanon, work for massive corporations.
Do you believe this will get vetoed at the desk?
I can't speak for the governor. I know that he's certainly keenly aware of the pressures that small business has been facing in Virginia.
Until then, Graziano says he plans to keep operating day by day.
I mean, most of my staff that's here have been here for years, so I don't want to turn my back on those guys and put them out, you know what I'm saying? So we're just doing the best we can with what we got to work with.
New video tonight from an attempted armed robbery from last week at a Bristol, Tennessee gas station. Good evening, I'm Casey Getz. Bristol, Tennessee police say an armed Sullivan County Corrections officer was able to take the suspect into custody. Tonight, News 5's Andrew McClung is introducing us to the corrections officer. He finds out why she stopped there that morning.
Sullivan County Corrections Officer Sergeant Samantha Davis starts her morning with a cup of coffee almost all the time.
I have not stopped since before I had my kids, so that was over a year and a half ago.
But on the morning of March 4th,
I was unable to make coffee that morning, and I was super tired, so I thought, well, I'll just stop and get me a Monster, and that Monster turned into a Wild Monday.
what Sergeant Davis didn't know is that by stopping to get this energy drink, she would come face to face with a man allegedly trying to rob this gas station right here on West State Street.
I come around the corner and they were fighting, the clerk and the suspect. And I asked what was going on, and the clerk yelled he was trying to rob me. At that point, I pulled my weapon out and I instructed him to get on the ground and put his hands out and told the clerk to call 911.
Sergeant Davis was able to get 28-year-old Brandon Lowe handcuffed before Bristol, Tennessee police arrived and took him into custody.
The Sheriff's Department, they have trained us. Even though we're in corrections, we're still sworn deputies.
Her boss, Lieutenant Michael Cole, says the agency is proud of her heroic actions.
She did what she was supposed to, what is called for in our general orders to stop the perpetrator.
I'm just glad everybody's okay, because the clerks could have been shot or anybody could have been hurt. And so it was just good timing and God's work, I guess, that it just put me at the right place at the right time.
In Sullivan County, Andrew McClung, News 5, WCYB.